Understand the following. Just because someone does not follow Christ does not mean they can't have intelligence. That doesn't mean they can't have life experience. And that does not mean that they can't have something good to say or some valuable information to offer you. In the world, you have those gurus, those self-help gurus that want to help people recover from narcissistic abuse or how to get rich quick. You have various types of gurus out there. Some about personal development, or some are just about things like going to the gym and all of that. So the world has its gurus. We know that. And there is this term, those worldly gurus. Well, all gurus are worldly, but there's a term that gurus are using when it comes to social relationships, and that's breadcrumbing. What are breadcrumbs? You see it on the screen. You see it in the background of this video. You see the loaf of bread over there. The loaf of bread is on a plank, and there are some breadcrumbs over there. Now, what will benefit you in the long run? The breadcrumbs or the loaf of bread? Of course, the loaf of bread. Let's say now that you need bread and you're going to a bakery because you expect to purchase a good loaf of bread, a fresh loaf of bread at the baker. And you arrive there at 8 o'clock in the morning and he tells you, come back at 9, then the bread is ready. But then explain to him that you're really hungry and you have money, so you want to pay. And then tells you, just pay me 10 euros now, you can get the bread later. And he gives you some crumbs from leftovers from yesterday. You arrive at 9. He tells you, oh, there was a delay because the oven broke, so please come back at 11. You come back at 11. The breadcrumbs are gone. Now he's not around, so one of his employees hands you another sack with breadcrumbs from bread that's almost 5 days old. You think, you know what, I've paid my money, so I'm going to take it. When you arrive at 6 p.m. in the afternoon, in the evening, and you tell the baker that you paid 10 euros, which only got the breadcrumbs thrice during the day, it tells you, oh, the bread will come tomorrow and you still need to pay me 5 euros because those breadcrumbs, they're not cheap. And now you're thinking, what? I came here 8 o'clock in the morning asking for bread. You told me it would be finished within an hour. I paid you already. You promised me that I would get a loaf of bread. You gave me some breadcrumbs as compensation for the meanwhile. I came back thrice after that, so I visited your bakery 4 times. And now that I'm here in the evening, you tell me that I owe you 5 euros more. So not only did you not deliver what you've promised, but now you also tried to make me feel guilty and trick me into paying you. So you're robbing me. What are you going to do? You're going to call the police on me because I didn't pay for the breadcrumbs? And then the baker just walks away. Because that is what he wants to do, to call the cops on you because you didn't pay for the breadcrumbs. But here's the thing. You never came there for the breadcrumbs, you came there for the bread. He pushed you to get some breadcrumbs while the bread will be finished soon. But the bread was never finished. He never intended to give you a loaf of bread. He just wants you to keep coming to the shop so that he could get your money. And you paid the price for the loaf of bread, 10 euros. And he also wanted another 5 euros from you. So it was a trick to keep you interested in his bakery so that he could use that interest to blackmail you into paying him more than you should. You're the one who should call the cops because he scammed you. But he's now turning it around as if you are the one that's scamming him. Now, that's just a parable about his loaf of bread. Now, look at it this way. Replace a loaf of bread with relationships. Human beings have a deep-rooted need to be involved with other people. We crave intimacy and relevancy. We crave to be significant. That's natural. Whenever we don't get any form of significance, when we don't get any form of significance from the community, when that does not happen, we lose our minds. We need social interaction and we need to be considered relevant by other people. That's just what it means to be human. That's how God designed it, and there's nothing wrong with that. Now, the world knows this, and society knows that you have this deep-rooted need to be included. Society knows, at least the leaders of society, that if you have enough water, enough food, and enough clothes, and enough money, you will still die of physical sicknesses, though to the depression you fall into when nobody wants to be around you. We human beings, we crave relationships. It's natural, just like we crave air to breathe and water to drink, food to eat. We need relationships. So this need to be significant is what the world is using against you. Society is using this against you. Society tells you you'll be accepted and you'll be safe if you comply. And they'll show you celebrities, they'll show you, or they'll expose you to those self-made stories, self-made millionaires, or people that overcame difficult childhoods without blaming society. And look at that. All those success stories that they promote are stories where the quote-unquote victor blames himself and never society for neglecting him or neglecting her. Haven't you noticed that? But okay. They'll show you all of that to trick you into thinking, if I comply, I'll be accepted. Things will work out well. So, as a child, you capture this. So you go to school, you behave, you want to be a good kid, you get the grades, you get your primary school diploma, then your high school diploma. Some rebelled through that time, so they got in trouble once in a while, but they got their bicycle diploma, they got their driver's license, they went to college, they jumped all the hoops, and at age 22, when they have their master's degree, now they think, oh, I'm going to get a full-time job. Now is my time to invest in society, and people will appreciate me when I reach age of 30. That's what they think. But they end up working long hours, full-time, they're drained, they're exhausted, and time and life passes them by. And when they reach age 30, they realize that it has been a scam. Now it's younger people that are in their late teens that become the target of interest, and they are not considered relevant anymore. What has happened? Throughout their lifetime, they received breadcrumbs. All I'm saying, they received crumbs from society. Instead of just being given prosperity, they were given crumbs. And they were told, if you want the full love of bread, if you want the full prosperity and the full acceptance and the full safety, if you want to be fully embraced and accepted, then you need to work hard. Then you need to behave like this. Then you need to have sex with this and this individual. Then you need to avoid this and this individual. Then you need to hang out with that crowd, avoid that crowd. You need to dress like this, talk like this, feel like this. They get a whole set of expectations. And they're told, if you jump through all these hoops, you match all these expectations, you're in. At the same time, there's a threat. If you don't comply, the little that you have will be taken away from you. Because if you hang out with people that are considered stupid by society, maybe your boss doesn't want you at work anymore, maybe other jobs don't want to, maybe other employers don't want to hire you, then you can't pay rent, no matter how many diplomas you have, and you end up homeless. And people forget about you. You don't want that. Or when it comes to sexuality, if you have a sexual interest for people that are considered low by society, considered from a certain ethnic group, then whether you're male or female, it will cost you eventually. And if you have children with that individual, oh dear, the children are going to suffer. So there is this fake promise of you getting the full loaf of bread, but there's also a threat, there's also a stick that will beat you if you don't chase that loaf of bread. That's how society works. You have the loaf of bread, which are the false promises given to you by the media, by the government, and by religion and all of that. So you have all those false promises, and then you have a threat that if you don't chase those false promises, society is coming after you. So you want to avoid being targeted. You don't want violence to happen to you, because You realize how vulnerable you are as a human being, that you have a mortal body. So you want to be safe, so you comply. And while you comply, you forget that there is a threat that pushes you to chase the loaf of bread. So you begin to believe in that loaf of bread. So all the crumbs you get, you'll rejoice. After 5 years full-time job, you get a little promotion, which you get 10 euros more on your salary, just 10 euros. You're still working the same amount of hours, you're still exhausted each end of the week, but you get 10 euros more. That's a breadcrumb right over there, and think, yes, I'm validated. Or it can be that people around you haven't contacted you for a while, and they realize that if they never contact you at all, but only call you, but they need something from you, you will realize how narcissistic and selfish attitude is as you may confront them. They don't want this, they don't want all this drama. So from time to time they ask you, how are you, this and that, just to keep you happy, so they have an open door to benefit from you. Society throws breadcrumbs at you, and you're expected to rejoice and fight for those breadcrumbs. Even for those breadcrumbs, you're supposed to earn it. They don't give them to you freely. And this is the blackmail society uses on people. When you were a little child, when you were a baby born, society had to look after you. And that is what society uses as blackmail, telling you, well, we look after you, so you're an ungrateful piece of trash if you don't comply with society now. And a lot of people fall for this blackmail. Now let me tell you one thing, because I'm talking to believers now. It's a scam. It is a scam. Breadcrumbing is a term or a concept that gurus are using to describe narcissistic exploitation. And let me tell you, it does only happen in sexual relationships. It happens daily. That's how the world works. You are promised a cake if you work hard. But here's the thing, only the fake will get a cake. You don't fake it till you make it. The only way you can ever make it is if you're fake. But they show you the cake. They show you the crumbs of the cake. And people begin to fight for the cake. And only those that are fake will get the cake. And then you think those people that have the cake worked very hard. They got the house. They have the cars. They have the jewelry. They have the expensive holidays. They have this and that. It was given to them to convince you that society is real. To drain you of your life source so you won't be able to do God's will. So that God will not be glorified through you. That it was all about. Satan will throw cake crumbs at you. A cake crumb can be a relationship or fast cars or attractive sluts. I'm just calling it what it is. Or a lot of fame in the underworld or recognition in the scientific community. Whatever it is. He will throw cake crumbs at you to lure you in and to send you to hell with a smile. That is what Satan is doing. So, now that we know that breadcrumbing is how society works, and it was done to us, unknowingly we became part of doing it to others also, but now you don't have to feel guilty about it because now you can repent and be better and do better. And that's why, believers, listen to what I'm saying now. What I'm about to say now is quite important. That's why you need to trust God's protection. Some people out there, they want to benefit from you, but they don't want to be responsible for how they treat you. They just want benefits from you. They want attention. Some of them want sexual activity from you. Some of them want money from you. Some of them want you to sponsor them and to support them in their dreams. They want all these good things from you, but they don't want to consider you because it's all about them. And such people, they know very well that they can't get away with openly stating that it's all about them and they just expect you to give to them unconditionally without expect anything in return. They know they can't get away with such an attitude. But that's the attitude they want to continue in because they don't want any responsibility whatsoever. So, to in order not to feel guilty or to feel negatively charged for how they treat you, they will contact you from time to time. And such people, anytime they contact you, you can feel that something is off. It can be that you have this friend who haven't called you in 2 years. Then one day he calls you. You see his number and you feel like you're about to vomit, or you feel like there's something not right. You feel that you feel disturbance in your belly or in your breathing, whatever. Physically, you feel unease when you see his number. But there's a guy you're on good terms with. There were never fights and all of that. So you think, why do I feel so bad? I'm telling you why you feel bad. The energy he emits in the earth realm concerning you is bad. And your radar picks that up. Even if it's through the phone, you pick it up. And your body senses this danger, and the body responds physically to this danger. And you experience the response of your body. But you don't know why your body is doing that. You don't know exactly what's going on. You just experience the symptoms that your inner radar is hinting you that something's off. So you pick up the phone, you talk to that so-called friend, and after a while it just hangs up. And for the next month, it doesn't say anything anymore. Now, there are people who have their own projects going on, or they have families to raise. So you can't expect them to call you every day. Okay, we know that. And there are people whom God puts in your life that will only contact you from time to time to check on you. And they mean it, and they're genuine, and there's nothing bad coming from them towards you. Such people you also have. Just because someone is sent by God in your life does not mean that you ought to be involved with each other all the time. No. So there's a difference between someone that God sent in your life to check on you from time to time and someone that Satan keeps there to keep you distracted. Many of you don't have relationships, you have distractions. You have distractions disguised as relationships. And because there are crumbs that you receive, you think that there is a chance that things will be better. You think that your efforts work out. When one day they stop being so annoying and they consider you. If one day they finally pay attention to you. Or one day they finally recognize all the good things you're doing. All of this they're doing just to keep their door open. Because if they wanted to do anything in return to you at all, it will be obvious they're exploiting you. And even other people, outsiders, will become upset with them. Thinking, who do you think you are? So to save face and to save their reputation, they will throw crumbs at you, and they'll make sure that other people know they're throwing those crumbs, because other people will see those crumbs as genuine. And when you receive those crumbs, they're not validated. If you refuse those crumbs, they will use it against you just to get sympathy from others at your expense. Look, God knows who everyone is. Nobody can hide from the Most High. When God puts a protection on you, don't go against it. Some of you are asking why it is that often that you take initiative to form new relationships, often people just disappear or they just never come back. You've been self-diagnosing yourself over and over again to see what's wrong. Now, I'm here to tell you, there's nothing wrong with you. It's the protection from the Holy Spirit that keeps bad people away from you. Breadcrumbing is normal in the world. They just don't call it like that. It will be too obvious. But that is what's going on. That is what keeps society going. If you would tell young teenagers in the early teens that they'll have to be wage slaves for 40 or 50 years and then they'll die before their time with diseases, if you would tell them like that plainly, they would think, why do I need to go to school if that's the future school's preparing me for? They will not comply. But if you show them all those promises and you give them narcissistic supply by pointing out to those who are in the streets selling drugs because they don't have a school diploma or a college degree, when you show them that, they'll feel validated with chasing the career or chasing the social validation, whatever it is. Then you blind them from seeing the fact that they're being scammed. So understand the following also. When someone keeps talking bad about someone else in your presence, they're doing that to distract you from what they are doing. That's how a lot of women got involved with narcissistic husbands who even tried to kill them. The woman was upset with something that happens to her, and the man, when they first met, showed so much sympathy and empathy over and over again, and he kept talking about how bad some men are and all of that. Why did he do that? To win her trust. He was doing that to hide the fact that he was bad himself, and she fell for it. It also happens the other way around. There are women out there keep complaining about their ex-boyfriends or ex-husbands, playing the victim, and then she begins to compliment the new guys she met, but you're not like that, you're different. Now let me tell you, even if it's a fact that you're not like those narcissistic men, the fact that she says that, there may be an ulterior motive, namely, she's conditioning you to perceive her as the victim you need to save. So that the day that her BS comes out, you'd be in shock. And she would think, no, I'm not like those other men that abused her, so I'm going to do things right. It's used to gaslight you. They throw crumbs at you to kind of trigger your hunger for more, but more will never come. I'm telling you, more will never come. It will never happen. That's why I keep following Christ, the real King, who never fails us, and trust his protection. Never restore a bridge God burns down. God burnt down Sodom and Gomorrah. Are you going to rebuild it? No, right? Never burn down a bridge. I'm saying, I said it wrong. It's the other way around. Never rebuild a bridge God burns down. Because if the bridge was burnt, God wouldn't have burned it down. Keep agreeing with Christ.